of props.
Welcome back, Recliner Sports Reporters, to another week's episode of Knockout Bets podcast. Sorry for missing last week. We were busy having a grand old time on our Cruising for Canines fundraising cruise.
No UFC card anyway, so not a huge deal.
You know what's funny is when we booked that cruise, I had no idea there was no fights on that weekend. Brilliant
That
planning.
Worked out well.
Like, what better idea or weekend to run a cruise than one when there's no UFC fights?
Yeah, it worked out well. So I'm curious to hear from you. Tell us a little bit about the cruise. Obviously I was there, but for the benefit of the people listening.
So everyone, again, thank you to everyone who supported. We really appreciate it. We end up raising a little over 1,400, pretty close to 1,500K now. We're still adding up some stuff. We're still going through the ticket sales.
$1,500, not $15K.
$1,500.
We wish it was $15K, but we are so appreciative.
No, $1,500.
Everybody who participated.
$1,500.
Help raise what we did.
Yeah, it was good. We had some great raffle prizes. We had lots of people. We had people win a full-size Jason Tatum. We had people win some nice gift basket. Thank you for Pamplemousse, Finn's restaurant in Salem. They donated a $50 gift card. And then, of course, we had some awesome dog treat baskets from New England Dog Biscuit Company, Worldly Pets, and Goodness Gracious over in Marblehead, Mass. So we really appreciate all that. Thank you again to everyone who came. Huge shout out to Mahi Cruises for allowing us to use your boat to cruise. Thank you so much for that. And again, a huge shout out to Northeast Animal Shelter as well. Again, we're happy to partner with you. Thanks for allowing us to run this event for you, and we hope the money can help you out.
Yeah, I think it's also important to mention our sponsors. So that's the Zion Lutheran Church in Fort Myers, Florida, Longboards, which is in Salem, if I'm not mistaken, Shoebies Marketplace, who donated a whole bunch of amazing food for the event. And then help me out on who I'm forgetting here. There's one more.
New England Dog Biscuit Company.
New England Dog Biscuit Company also sponsored the event. So huge thank you to all of those businesses as well. And of course, to everybody who came out and showed up and got on the boat with us. I think we had a little over 40 people on the boat. We had a great time. It was a little chilly that night, but I think everybody had a good time with the games and raffles and having a couple drinks on the boat on a Friday night.
Oh, super fun.
It was a good time. I know I had a great time. I had a ton of fun, even though we were running around working the whole time. And it's really awesome. We're doing our final tally, and like Mike said, somewhere between $1,400-$1,500. I think next week we'll deliver that check to Northeast Animal Shelter, and that's really awesome, and it's because of everybody who participated.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for the next event. We were thinking about a golf outing in Fort Myers, but this leads us to our next segment, which again, we want to take speaking of raising money for causes. So I'm from Fort Myers, Florida, and as many of you know, Hurricane Ian came through and really train wrecked all of Southwest Florida. Fort Myers specifically too. Businesses and homes and loved ones were lost. So definitely a pause in the golf outing right now, but for our GoFundMe for them. So again, when we started this, and we keep saying it, when we started this platform, we 100% we are truly wanting to help out those who are in need. That's what we're about. That's what our mission is about. And we made a decision. And again, if we're going to talk about it, we have to be about it. So we made the decision. We have started a GoFundMe page to help out those affected by Hurricane Ian in Fort Myers. Our GoFundMe page is on our Facebook. You can click on the link there. It's also in our bio and our Instagram as well.
It's on Twitter as our pinned tweet. It's all over our social media.
So all proceeds are going to go help to get food, water, supplies, housing. Anyone who needs any sort of assistance, we are going to the funds that we raise, we're going to donate to those people that are in need in Fort Myers. So please, anything goes a long way. This is Fort Myers is definitely going to be in for it for a while now. The storm was, it was terrible what it's done. So again, we want to inspire you to help out, and please, anything would go a long way.
Yeah, and like Mac said, this is especially close to us because Mac is from that area and still has family living there who, happy to report evacuated and are safe. But it's going to be a tough time, tough go for a lot of people, and a lot of people that Mac is close to personally, whether they're family members, friends, whoever they may be. And so, any little bit, if you have $5 to throw on the GoFundMe, that makes a difference. That'll buy somebody a sandwich or something. I mean, any little bit makes a difference.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel like you have to go drop $100 if that's not comfortable for you. It all adds up, and it's all going to help people who really need a hand right now.
Yeah, exactly, man. You can make a difference today for sure. All right. Well, that brings us to we actually have a UFC fight card this weekend. Very interesting card.
Feels like we've been off forever, even though it was only one weekend that got skipped.
Yeah, and I know, it has been. It does. Dana White Contender Series though has been able to keep it.
Bo Nickel.
Yeah, he's the next big thing. But yes, for this fight night we have Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Xiaonan. They are going to be headlining this UFC fight night. Going to be an absolute brawl and war between these two ladies. The first fight of the night that we want to talk about has the potential to be fight of the night here. We have Brandon Allen versus Krzysztof Jotko. Absolute savage warriors going at it, battling up. Andrew, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, this is lined really close to a pick'em, and I think that's accurate. Both of these guys are very talented. They're both well-rounded, and like you said, I think it's going to be a great fight. Allen, however, though I question his fight IQ, he's had some really close fights with some guys that you might not say are world beaters. Talking about like Jacob Malkoun. He even had a fight that was closer than it should have been with Sam Alvey when Sam Alvey was on his historic losing streak and, somehow sticking around in the UFC forever, becoming a meme in that way. Allen does have really good takedowns, but he's moved away from that recently. Seems like he's fancies himself a striker now. His striking has improved a lot. And he's decent on the feet. But he's not all world. He's not a killer on the feet by any means. And it kind of seems like he's fallen in love with his striking a little bit when he does have really good offensive wrestling. His defensive wrestling is questionable. His takedown defense isn't that great. I think he's about 50% takedown defense. Malkoun took him down a bunch of times. So he can be taken down. He's got good grappling on the ground. Jotko, I think, is going to be the better striker. He does not really have power. You're not probably worried about him knocking you out, most likely. But he's quick and clean. He uses his range well. He moves well on the feet. He's got good cardio. He likes to work in the clinch a good amount. And Jotko brings really good volume as well. One of the most important things, I think, in the breakdown of this fight to me is that Jotko has really, really good takedown defense. And Jotko also has really, really good fight IQ. Jotko's usually controlling where his fights are, having them on the feet when he wants to be on the feet, on the ground when he wants to be on the ground, according to where he thinks he has the advantage. To me, it looks like he has the advantage on the feet in this one. So I imagine that's where he's going to try to keep it. I do think there's maybe some value on Jotko by decision because I don't see him getting a knockout. He just doesn't hit hard like that. But I have already bet Jotko, got him at minus 115. That my line's moved a little bit now, so I think I got a good number. Um, it's not my most confident bet of all time. I definitely could see this going the other way, especially if Allen uses his striking to set up his offensive wrestling. Could definitely see him finding a way to either finding a finish or winning 2 out of 3 rounds at least. If he comes with a really good game plan and executes it well, I just don't see that happening. So that's why I have Jotko.
I'm on you with Jotko. I think Brandon Allen's tough. I just think Jotko's resume is a little bit bigger, and a little bit deeper and more experienced. I think, Brandon Allen, when you look at him, 19 wins, 15 finishes, 10 being by submission, he's got good ground game and good finishing skills. But with someone that's got good takedown defense and good stand up, I'm going to be leaning towards Jotko. This line's actually pretty close too, so he's not a huge favorite. So that makes I'm comfortable. I know sometimes I usually like to take the plus money, but I'm comfortable where the line is like that. I think if anything, I might want to get in on it now. It may get bet down bigger as the fight week goes on. I think another line to look at is this thing possibly going the distance. I think these two are two good fighters. I think the over's up in play here. And I definitely think, Jotko by decision could be an interesting line pick that might want to sprinkle in somewhere.
Yeah, I completely agree. So you're looking at the fight goes to decision. Your best number is about minus 154. So that's not a terrible number. That's probably bettable, I think, or certainly could be a parlay piece with something like you mentioned. I mean, I think, competition, just looking at Jotko's last 2 fights, he beat Gerald Meerschaert and Misha Serkinov. That's a really good wrestler in Serkinov and a really good grappler, world-class grappler in Meerschaert. And, I don't think Brendan Allen has the wrestling of Serkinov, and I don't think even though he's a really good offensive wrestler, and even though he's a really good grappler, he doesn't, I think, have the grappling of Meerschaert. And Jotko was obviously able to beat those 2 guys in his last 2 fights. So I think that helps the slight lean towards that side.
100%. I love it. All right. Our next fight, I can't even believe we're saying this man's name. This is unreal right now. We have Ilir Latifi versus Alexei, the boa constrictor, Oleinik. I thought that was the last time. I thought we already saw his goodbye farewell, and it was an amazing win. I still remember watching that sub happen, especially I had the boa constrictor by sub. But here we are again, having another conversation about one of the most biggest legends in the UFC game. Andrew, start us off. What's your thoughts on this one, man?
Yeah, I mean, heavyweights can last forever. And it's interesting on this card, we have 3 dudes that are like significantly into their 40s on this card. We're going to talk about another one next with Trinaldo. And then what's his name? Guido Canetti is on the undercard. So this is the AARP card or something for this one. Yeah, I mean, what do you say about Alexei Oleinik? He's the boa constrictor. He can sub you from anywhere. He can sub you from the top. He can sub you off his back. He can sub you from standing. We're also going to talk about Mackenzie Dern can sub you from standing, but we're not to that fight breakdown yet. He's 45 years old. He seems to only have about a round to a round and a half of a gas tank, and then he's dead. He can get cracked against power punchers, but he has funky striking that can sort of be effective and that he can use to set up getting the match to the ground. And I say set up getting the match to the ground because it's not even necessarily him setting up his own takedowns. Like, he's one of these guys who can pull guard. Yep. And he's just happy that the fight's on the ground because he's going to create a scramble and try to get on top and try to, grab a neck or an arm or a leg or whatever he can find to submit you. And his grappling is probably second to none of anybody in the heavyweight division for sure. Latifi, what's interesting about him, Dogger Pass podcast, the guy jokes about Latifi having no neck, and it's true. I mean, you look at Latifi, he really does have no neck, so maybe that makes it ever so slightly harder for Oleinik to find the neck and find a sub, but just an interesting observation there. Latifi is super low volume on the feet. He fought Derek Lewis recently, and he landed 5 significant strikes in a fight that went the distance. Super, super low volume on the feet, but he can crack. He throws hard when he does throw. His game, though, is offensive wrestling. His game is to take you down, to lay on top of you, to perhaps try to get ground and pound, or to just lay on top of you, maybe hunt for a sub. I don't think Latifi's going to sub Oleinik. I would be shocked if that happens. The only way I could see that happening is if like Oleinik's 3/4 unconscious because he got clubbed, and then, Latifi jumps on the neck or something like that. But, in a grappling exchange, I don't see Latifi finding the sub against Oleinik. I think that would blow a lot of people's minds, including mine. I'm so up in the air about where to go with this pick because there are so many possible outcomes I can see in this fight. I can see a bizarro world where they stay on the feet and Oleinik actually wins a striking battle just by volume because Latifi doesn't throw much. I can see Latifi winning a striking battle by landing the harder shots. I can see especially Latifi finding a KO shot, especially as it gets into the second and third rounds. I think what I most likely see is really unfortunate is a boring fight where there's a lot of Latifi laying on top of Oleinik with not a whole lot actually happening. Of course, you can see the outcome where it's Oleinik by sub. I think I'm going to probably end up completely passing on this one. The Oleinik sub line isn't high enough that I like it. That was one that I would look at. I think, you can look at maybe one way to look at it is to look at the line for like Latifi by decision or KO. And that's probably going to be a little friendlier than his money line because you're taking away the submission possibility. And I just don't think that's going to happen. So maybe I'm talking myself into betting Latifi by KO or decision, but I don't know.
Well, I'm riding with Oleinik all the way. I mean, come on, the boa constrictor. I'm gonna just keep betting him until he retires or loses, and I'll be okay with it. I know my demons. I think yes, Latifi might not have a neck, but he has other limbs, and if that's a leg lock or an arm bar or whatever, knee twister, who knows? There's plenty of types of submissions that can happen. I could totally see if Latifi wants to take this to the ground, he is in dangerous waters with a very, very dangerous man when it comes to grappling and being able to find submissions and be creative off his back. So I'm rocking with the boa constrictor. Let's ride. Let's go. I hope he can bring home a win. I think I'm just
so you're gonna bet that by a sub, right? Bet the sub line, not the money line.
I'm gonna sprinkle something on the sub, but my real bet is on the money line. I think I love it right now. I'm seeing it at plus money. I might even throw a couple extra units more than I would on just a regular fight. I just like it a lot. So I'm going to be rocking with Oleinik this week, man. Let's go boa constrictor. Get it done, big dog. Get it done. One more time for the boys. Yes.
I don't hate it. I can see this fight going all kinds of which ways. Like I said, I can even see Oleinik winning rounds on the feet.
I was watching a TikTok today.
This could go any which way.
They were talking about being a narrative better. You're betting on the narrative, and sometimes it's bad. All right. I'm betting the Bengals tonight because they're wearing white helmets and they're 1-3 against a 3-0 team, and they just had a hot game. I know it was against the Jets, but they finally are clicking on all cylinders. Playing the narrative here. Playing
There
the
you go.
narrative. Let's go.
I like it. I'm on the Bengals too, not because of what color jerseys they're wearing, because they're at home and because despite the hot start for the Dolphins this year, I actually think that the Dolphins are the better team. And being the better team and being at home, and they're only laying, I think, like 3.5 points right now.
Bengals
I
minus three
think
and a
that's
half.
all good to me.
Everyone, and we're going to come back to this because there are literally so many people right now that are on Bengals minus 3.5. And I, as a Bengals fan, know that Bengals play crappy on primetime, but we're going to cut back to it right now because the game's going to be over by the time this thing's uploaded, but we're going to use this. So you're cutting back to it right now. Bengals minus 3.5. It's a lock. Bet your rent.
Let's go.
All right, that's bringing us to our final two fights we're going to talk about tonight. We have our co-main event. That is Randy Brown versus Francisco Trinaldo. Crazy matchup. Andrew, give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah. So everything says that this should be Randy Brown. It should be Randy Brown all day, 2 times on Sunday, 3 times on Monday. Randy Brown 9 times out of 10. Randy Brown is going to have a 6-inch height advantage in this fight. He's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage in this fight. Francisco Trinaldo is 44 years old. Francisco Trinaldo's last 2 wins are against guys who are no longer in the UFC because they weren't that good. Everything says that this should be Randy Brown all day, every day. He's got clean striking, good jab. He uses his length really well, and he's going to have a ton of length advantage. Good kicks. He's solid on the ground too. I don't know, man. I just have some sort of like, I can't even give like a good solid argument for it. I'm going to try to, but I have some kind of spidey sense that says that this one isn't going to be as easy and as straightforward as it should be. Trinaldo is 44 years old. He's super tough. I mean, the guy is just a wrecking ball. He comes to fight every fight, leaves it all out there. Like I mentioned, his recent competition has not been great. He did start Jai Herbert, who's another big, long guy who had a huge reach advantage over him. So that counts for something in a fight like this. Trinaldo has solid power. He's decent on the ground as well. And what I wrote in my notes, he's just a durable warrior. And I think he's going to not fearlessly in a reckless way, but I think he trusts his skills enough that he's going to be able to get inside the range, get in the pocket, and really trade with Brown. That obviously is really dangerous for him. And at 44 years old, you know, the older you get, it seems like the easier it is to get knocked out. I don't think Trinaldo has ever been knocked out though. So he's got that going for him. All this adds up to me to, I'm not laying minus 300 on Randy Brown. I'm not betting Randy Brown by a finish. I also don't feel good about betting Trinaldo in any way. And I don't feel good about the over or the under. This one's going to be absolute fireworks. This is not like a bathroom break, you know, don't bet it and don't care if you watch it type fight. This is going to be the fight of the night, I think, if I had to pick one. But from a betting perspective, I'm staying away from it. And I promise I do have bets on this card. Like I bet on Jotko, not confidently. I did pass on these two. I have a whole card's worth of bets, but just not these particular two at least yet. And for this one, Trinaldo and Brown, I'm going to be passing. I may figure out a way to bet Oleinik and Latifi somehow, some way, but Trinaldo and Brown, I just have this spidey sense that says like everything says Randy Brown should win, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, so I'm agreeing with all you on there, and the only thing I'm going to be doing with this one is I'm going to be sprinkling in Randy Brown on a parlay as a finish there. But I agree with you. I am not liking either one of these. Someone that's got so much potential like Randy Brown, and someone who's just so tough like Trinaldo. And again, we just got done talking about this with Oleinik and Latifi. I mean, there's narratives to this, and Trinaldo, again, great fight. There's a reason why he's still in the UFC, he's still on the roster, he's still getting fights, even when he's that old. And it's because he's one tough dude. So this one's definitely dangerous. I do think Brown's reach and height advantage and striking advantage is definitely gonna help him out here. But we're not looking at something that's like a big gap, but I do think it's enough for Randy Brown to get it done if he can keep him at range, if he has a solid game plan. But he's going to have something solid because Trinaldo's got fight experience. He's got rounds in him under his belt. He knows he's got a high fight IQ. He knows what he's doing. The only thing that I'm going to be doing is I'll be sprinkling Randy Brown in to finish off a parlay. But
Yep. And then if you get squirrely about it, you can just hedge right out.
Yeah, right. Always hedge. Always hedge. Nunes Pena, don't ever do it again. That's always hedge.
I don't know about that. I
think it's Jersey Jerry. Ask Jersey Jerry if he would hedge.
There are some people that say never hedge. There's some people that say I'm on the go with your feel. What is your confidence like going into the fight, whether you hedge out of a big parlay or not? But yeah, I mean, I think this line is whacked. I think it should be more like, I don't know, maybe Brown minus 200, maybe even a little less than that. Like, I think that the fact that Brown's up over minus 300 is not right. So if anything, I guess that means what I'm saying is maybe there's some value on the Trinaldo line, but I just don't think he's going to win. And sometimes those value bets are they're losing bets if you don't think the guy's going to win. So they're not always smart plays. So yeah, I've convinced myself to I have a bad feeling, staying away.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. All right. Our last fight of the night, we have Mackenzie Dern versus Yao Jianan. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts on this one, buddy.
Yeah, so I've gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on this one, and I landed on something actually pretty definitive for this one. So we all know Mackenzie Dern is one of the best BJJ ladies in the entire world, anywhere. She gets you on the ground, and you can't keep up with her, you're very likely going to get submitted. That being said, we also all know this well about Mackenzie Dern now. Her takedowns are awful. She has a 9% takedown accuracy, 9%, less than 1 out of 10 takedown attempts that she actually gets. That being said, she's also really good at getting into the clinch, threatening submissions while standing, pulling guard, finding any way to engage and have it become a grappling jiu-jitsu type of fight. And she's also worked on her striking quite a bit and has improved her striking over time. Not a world beater by any means, but definitely gotten better over the course of her last 4 or 5 fights, for sure. If the fight stays on the street feet and is a striking battle, Jan has a huge advantage and will definitely win the fight. She's clean with her striking. She can also get in exchanges and brawl, and usually she's the more precise woman in the brawl. And she's not excellent on the ground, which is, I think, going to be the difference maker in this one. This is a 5-round fight because it's a main event. All Mackenzie Dern has to do, in my opinion, in this one is she has to get it to the ground once in 5 rounds, with a minute or 2 to work. And so one time out of 5 rounds to have the fight sprawl, get on the ground, whether she's on top or whether she's in guard, I think she'll be able to find the sub. So my bet is Dern by sub. And I think she finds it. She has 5 rounds to find it. One of those 5 rounds, she'll find it. I'm not going to call whether it's going to be early or late, but I just think that's a lot of time for her to find it.
I'm all on you with this one. I think Dern's again. I think the 5 rounds, she's going to really do her time to. She's going to take her time to find this thing. She's going to get it in. She's going to get it in tight, and she's going to come away with a submission victory. Same thing. Don't know when, because I think she's going to understand that Janan is a very, very tough fighter, and she's very, very highly skilled on both sides of the striking and the ground. But I just think Dern's going to be able to just take her time, eat at her, work in when she needs to, really tire her out, get it to her point to make a mistake. And like you said, Dern's going to walk away with a submission win for this fight.
I like it. I like that we're on the same side. What do you got for a lottery ticket this week?
Lottery ticket. I haven't even placed my lottery ticket yet, but I think I'll start with my KO though.
Go for it.
My KO, I am rocking with Trevin Jones.
Okay.
Trevin Jones KO.
I don't hate it. What's that line around? I bet Barcelos already. I think Barcelos wins probably by decision, but Trevin Jones KO is not bad. You can get plus 600 out there on that. That's definitely solid. I mean, there's an obvious one on this card, which is Sadiq Youssef by KO. I kind of feel like that's almost too easy. So let me see if I can find...
You know, it's funny. That was going to be mine, and I didn't because of the same reason.
Yeah. You know
what? I wanted something spicy for the fans.
Right. So I got something it's not even spicier. It's around the same. And I may bet this. I'm still deciding what I'm going to do with this fight. It's the first fight of the night, Guido Canetti and Randy Costa. I think, and when we talk about lottery ticket picks, Guido Canetti, to me, is the basis of any lottery ticket for this week. Like, will Costa knock him out in the first round? Very possibly. If he doesn't knock him out in the first round, will Guido Canetti win the fight? I think there's a decent chance that Canetti either finishes it in the second or third or wins the second and third. And I think Canetti's even live for a first round knockout. So I'm going to go with, just because I like the number, I'm going to go with Guido Canetti as my pick because Youssef is too obvious.
All right. I love that because Guido is in my lottery ticket. So I'm loving that. So for my lottery ticket, I have Canetti, Oleinik, Jotko, Brown, and Dern. Plus 2,600. So there you go. That's a fat daddy right there. You heard it here first. Come back. Keep your receipts.
So here's one that I've been kicking around, and this is like lottery ticket of all lottery tickets because this is completely fucking nuts and it's not going to happen. But like, I think each of these guys is live to win their fight. Like I see a path to victory. This is ridiculous, but it's memorable and fun to put, a very small sprinkle on all of the dudes over 40 to win. So that's Canetti, Oleinik, and Francisco Trinaldo. That's not going to happen. Probably all three of them are going to lose. But I do think that all of their lines are juicy. I do think that Canetti especially, I haven't bet it yet, but I might bet Canetti just money line straight. Like there's plus 240 on that. I don't know. Either that or maybe the way to approach that one is to see if Canetti's still alive after the first round and live bet him. Might even get a juicier number if Costa wins the first. And we haven't seen Costa have a gas tank past the first minute or so of the second round. So I like Canetti. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet it pre-fight or maybe wait till after the first round. But yeah, that's my lottery ticket. You can get, I think, around plus 3,000 odds parlaying Oleinik, Canetti, and Trinaldo. All the old dudes to win.
I love that. I love that so much. The narrative. We're narrative.
It's such a lottery ticket. It's so not going to happen.
We're narrative gamblers.
But it's fun.
We are narrative gamblers.
And you're getting 30 to 1 on your money. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
You throw $5 on that, you're gonna win. What's the math on that? What's 5 times 30? 5 times 3 is 15. You're gonna win $150 on a $5 bet.
Boom. Can't beat that. All righty, everyone. Well,
if it hits.
Yeah, right.
And I'm doing my math right.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Stay tuned for next week. Again, our GoFundMe for Hurricane Ian relief is up on our social medias. You can click on the link. Please help out. And again, thank you to everyone who helped out with our Cruising for Canines cruise. And as always, keep the change.
Thank you.